If I asked you to stop for a moment and name a magician, dead or alive, there's a good chance that you would say Houdini, which is quite crazy when you think about it. It's been nearly 100 years since the death of Houdini. There's a good chance that you've never even seen a video of him performing before, and yet there's probably a fair amount that you could tell me about his act. Houdini was perhaps one of the greatest performers of the 20th century, but it was his unique approach to self-promotion and marketing that has made him one of the most influential performers of all time. Hi, my name is James Kelsey. I've been a magician for 20 years now, 10 of those years professionally, and as a self-employed entertainer, I have always been a fan of Houdini's unique approach to promotion and marketing that has led to him not only being a successful performer at the time, but one of the most well-known performers of all time. Today, I will be going over Houdini's backstory, what made his promotional strategies so unique, and how his self-promotion drove his legacy. We'll begin with his backstory. Houdini was born with the name Eric Weiss in 1874 in Budapest, Hungary, to Rabbi Samuel Weiss and his wife, Cecilia Steiner. He was one of 7 children. One of his siblings, his older brother Theodore, would go on to be a performer in his own right and a partner in Houdini's performing career. Houdini's magic career began in 1891. He changed his name to Houdini as an homage to popular French magician at the time, Jean-Robert Houdin. He worked as a vaudeville performer in circus-style shows, and while he was regarded by many as a competent performer, his career would not explode until the early 20th century, where he gained popularity as an escapologist, most notably for his ability to escape from any pair of handcuffs that he was given. As his popularity increased, he began to be known for daring, dangerous, and death-defying stunts, such as his milk can escape, his suspended straitjacket escape, and his buried alive escape, in which he was locked in a coffin, buried alive, and forced to escape before suffocation. While Houdini was certainly an impressive performer, I think his greatest lessons are in his self-promotion techniques, and that is what I'll be talking about next. Magician and historian Jim Steinmeyer argues as the core thesis in his book, The Last Greatest Magician in the World, that Howard Thurston was a more respected magician at the time, and that there were many others like him. So why is Houdini so well known while magicians like Thurston have been lost to history? What set Houdini apart from his competition? Houdini created a story for his audience to tell. Houdini was well known for exaggerating movements in his performances, making things to seem more difficult than they actually were, and creating an emotional attachment that the viewer made, causing them to want to tell people about what they saw. While other performers would simply hang posters in hopes that people would see them, Houdini became known for his large and extravagant stunts that he would perform for free for the public in front of thousands of people in public spaces. Houdini made sure that the press knew where he was. Houdini would often perform his stunts right outside of the local newspaper buildings, making it easy for him to guarantee that not only was he talked about in the local paper, but that there were photographs to go along with them. He would also cross-promote these events with local businesses and the local authorities, giving him credibility, having local businesses create the devices that he would escape from, and having the local authorities provide the handcuffs. Houdini also utilized modern technology and was featured in several movies in the later 1910s and used them to promote himself. He would eventually go on to own his own movie studio, and in many ways was the Robert Downey Jr. of the 1920s. These over-the-top self-promotion techniques created an impressive legacy for Houdini, and that's what I'll be talking about next. Houdini died on October 31st, 1926 of peritonitis brought on by a ruptured appendix. In something of a final publicity stunt, Houdini gave his wife a code and said that if there was an afterlife, he would communicate with her using that code. His wife would go on to host events for the next decades on the anniversary of his death. To this day, fans host seances attempting to communicate with Houdini every Halloween, including at the world-famous Magic Castle in Hollywood. And speaking of Hollywood, Harry was given a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Harry's drive to create a story for his audience to tell has succeeded. Dozens of books, movies, and TV shows have featured Houdini, most notably the 1953 classic film starring Tony Curtis. The word Houdini can even be found in the Oxford English Dictionary, meaning a person or an animal that is very good at escaping. The History Channel has also called him the most influential magician of all time. Harry Houdini continues to be the world's most well-known magician even 100 years after his death. His performing ability combined with his unique self-promotion strategy made him memorable to those who saw him and made him a story to be talked about for generations to come. I hope that you feel that you have learned something about what made Houdini such a successful performer and the mark that he left on the entertainment world. Thank you.